Good morning. It's time for my blog that I promised everybody. First of all, I would like to warn everybody beforehand. This is going to be a little bit longer of a blog than normal. Usually they're like 7 to 10 minutes long. This might be a little bit longer, maybe 5 or 10 minutes longer than that even. Um, I have two topics to discuss. My first topic that I would like to discuss would be the Affordable Care Act. Um, and it has to do with the tie into the shutdown, the government shutdown we had last week. It lasted about 2 weeks. Um, I got lost in time because all you hear is politicians crying back and forth to each other from both sides. Um, and really, this is all that matters. The thing is, during the shutdown. Now, I want to stress that I'm neither Republican or Democrat. How that in the way they're defined today. Um, I want to point out that the Republicans did send proposals um, to the Democrat-held Senate. Democrats hold majority in the Senate. Now these proposals, there were 7 or 8 of them, had a lot of Democrat backing to them. So both parties agreed to this in the House. It was passed overwhelmingly, won to the Senate. Um, now, the president ordered them all to be struck down, or he would veto every one of them. And the reason being wasn't because they all defunded Obamacare. Because that is what the Republicans wanted to do. That's what I wanted them to do. That's what I think should have happened. But that's for a different vlog. This doesn't have anything to do with the pros and cons of Obamacare. Although most of you probably know my position on that issue. This has to do with the fact that those proposals that the Republicans sent forth to the Senate to be voted on all contained a delay on the mandates for Obamacare. And that is what the president didn't like. The president didn't like the fact that I do this every time. The president didn't like the fact that Obamacare, that they were trying to delay the mandates. He said it would never happen. He said, no certain terms will there be any more delays of the mandates. There would be no more delays. And that's why he refused to negotiate with Republicans, because they wanted to delay the mandates at least. He would not do it. He refused to even sit down and talk to him about it. Now, now that the shutdown's ended and the Republican rhinos, whatever you want to call them, except for a select few like Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, maybe like one or two others, they caved and signed a deal that most of us are not happy with. It doesn't really. I mean, it's a short-term band-aid. That in the long run, we're just going to be in the same place we were a few weeks ago. In January, we're going to have the same thing going on. Excuse me. But anyway, now that the shutdown is over, and the president parades out to the podium, he's all arrogant. I want to be clear. I won. I won on the shutdown. I won. Rah, 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 rah. And, now, it was yesterday, the president announces that there are going to be delays on the mandates after all. My whole thing is that I see from this is just a smear tactic. It's a cheap scam that most liberals will fall for, of course, was to place blame on the shutdown for the shutdown on Republicans, saying that the Republicans were being unreasonable, asking for a delay in the mandates, and then after you've refused and you let it go for weeks, now you're going to come out and say, well, I ordered a delay on the mandates. I mean, how can you do that? And I don't understand, how do people, not look at this and say, wait a second, This guy didn't want to negotiate because he did not want any more delays on the mandate. I mean, does that not register? This is for my liberal friends who have the courage to watch this, have the courage and the class to accept somebody else's viewpoint on this. How can you not look at this and say, wait a minute, that's not what he said last week. Last week he said there would be, under no circumstances, there would be no more delays on the mandate. And now this week, after the shutdown is over, he's going to blame Republicans for the shutdown, and then he's going to say there's a delay in the mandate, and it's going to look like it was the Republicans' fault. How can you? This is to my liberal friends. How can you not see it? I mean, what is in front of your eyes that you cannot see the bullshit that this man spews forth all the time? This is just a latest in a line of flip-flops and scams, and nobody can see it. Now, and like I said, I'm not Republican, per se. I'm not really Republican. I took the compass test online, your political compass test, and I scored in the libertarian right, the right-wing libertarian. Whatever that is, I've never understood, I never thought there was anything, such thing as a right-wing libertarian. Um, I don't understand why I scored libertarian, because I'm against the legalization of marijuana for recreational use. And most libertarians, they think weed should be legal for recreational use. I think it should be legal for medicinal purposes. That's another blog. Um, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, was that the healthcare mandate flip flop with the delays. If anybody has any logical explanation as to why he flip flopped and why this is any different, why him now saying there's going to be a delay is any different than when the Republicans said, well, can we at least get a delay on the mandates? And he said no. So I want to know what changed between then and now that he said, oh, okay, guess what? The mandates are going to be delayed after all. So can't blame the Republicans because you said you won. The shutdown didn't end on their terms; it ended on yours. So if you knew that there would have to be a delay on the mandate, why didn't you sign the proposals that were sent forth? Was it because you just wanted to smear the Republican side of the aisle, or was it because you seriously didn't want the mandate and something changed, the delay, and now something changed that make you think it's, well, okay, the delay is the way we should go? I just want somebody to answer that and to give me a satisfactory explanation. Anyway, we're at 8 minutes. I need to get on to my main topic of attack today, which is a high school football team in Texas um, defeated another team 91-0. Now, um, a lot of people are sitting there saying 91-0 high school football. That's absolutely insane. That's running up the score. That's running up the score. That's insane. That's not right. Um, I'm wearing my Manheim Central Barons jersey today. It's on purpose, just because I love high school football. I mean, the NFL is all right if you're into all the sneaker deals and all that, the commercialization of the sport, the corruption of the sport, I'd like to say, for the most part. Not all the players, not all the coaches are like that, but overall, the NFL is a corruption of the sport of football today. Not always. Today it is. Um, excuse me. Um, high school football, college football is not so bad, but it's gotten to be a little corrupted. Obviously, you've seen things, you've heard things, you've seen the television. I'm sure you can all make educated guesses. Excuse me for a moment. Cheyenne, just making sure you're okay. Couldn't hear you. When you can't hear your kids, something's usually not right. Never mind. Just making sure you're okay. If you become a parent, or you are a parent, you know what I'm talking about, or you will know what I'm talking about. High school football, to me, I think that it's a bunch of kids that are out there. They're not playing so they get a big salary. They're not paying so they can be on, they're not playing so they can be on TV. Although sometimes, news, they put them on TV and they love it. Who wouldn't? But they're playing it because they love the game. They want to impress people. They want to impress themselves. Um, Bragging rights. It's pride. They're playing for the right reasons. Now, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you got, for one reason or another, a team either just gives up. They're not so good. A team is really good. Um, I know a couple of years back, 1999, Mannheim Central played Solanco. It was in Mannheim. It was a big deal at the time. Everybody cried foul, and they won 96-0. Um, but you got to understand that first string was not in. The whole game, throwing passes and misdirection. Uh, you know, they call it off the dogs, but you can't tell kids to just take a knee for 2 quarters because you don't want to run the score because the score is 72-0 at halftime. Um, but this school in Texas, they won 91-0. I'll be with you in a minute. This team in Texas, they won 91-0. A lot of people were really butthurt about it, and there's actually parents from the opposing school, the school that lost, are filing charges against this high school team for bullying. Them bullies. I think they should be banned from playing high school football for the rest of the year. And all their losses should be erased. All their stats should be wiped out. No, not right now, kiddo. We'll do one in a minute. I think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. We are raising a generation of kids who are not taught to take a loss, to take a defeat, to take a failure, and learn from it and say, okay, we lost. We tried our best where we didn't try our best, and we lost. I am doing this. Suck it up. Try harder next time. Do something different next time. Practice. Get better at what you do. In every sport, you have one team here and one team here. When these two teams meet, one team's going to come out on the shorter end of the stick. Whenever I want to do that, every time I want to do something, a million things. The kids need something, the wife needs something, someone calls, somebody knocks on the door. That's how it is around here, so you have to excuse me. I love them. I'm not really complaining. I love them, but, give me 10, 15 minutes to do something I want to do.
You love me
Get out of
too,
here.
right?
Yes, I do, but get out of here. We'll do one in a minute.
When you're done with
Um,
this.
I'm doing something. And the disrespect. But anyway, we're raising a generation of kids who do not know how to take failure and learn from it. Because this is the age of the political correct, nobody's allowed to lose. Nobody's allowed to get their feelings hurt. We can't hurt this person's feelings, can't hurt that kid's feelings, because they're going to be scarred for life. Take the loss, suck it up, learn from it, do better next time, get in the weight room, practice, don't complain about it, use it as motivation. If you're not a senior, next year when you meet this team again, remember what they did to you last time. Usually in high school you play 1 year in away, the next year the same game against the same team as at your house. If it was at their house this year, next year when it's at your house, then use that as motivation. Say, okay, last year we went to your place and you put a whooping on us, but this year you're in our house and we are not going to let you push us around like that. That's the way high school football is supposed to be played. That's the attitude you're supposed to have. Okay, we got whooped. Suck it up. Take a salt tablet. Rub some dirt on it, kid. Come back out there next week and show them what you're really made of. But today, of course, we have parents who want to butt in on everything. and make their kid feel like somehow they're a victim because they lost a game. Um, and, all this liberal talk, all this politically correct garbage about bullying in high school. When we got bullied in high school, we had to suck it up. I'm only 33 years old. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to give a couple, a short story here about my grandfather. When he was around, missing like crazy. His stories were incredible. Get your face out of my glass of drink. I'm trying to do something. Pretty soon you're going to be in timeout. My grandfather used to tell me stories about when he was in school. And things were quite different back then. And not in a bad way. I know he used to tell me that when they had a different... Okay, I'll move my drink over here. When he was in school, things were a lot different. If they had a problem with somebody, they settled it on the playground with a little good old fist fight. Not a gun fight, not a knife fight. A fist fight. Not a bunch of his buddies jumping in if the other one was getting beat. It was one-on-one fist fight. And those two, when they had a fight, after the fight was over, oh, don't start! I pushed you and I didn't hurt you. You're going to get me in trouble for something like that because you exaggerate. Those two had a fist fight. After the fist fight was over, there was a winner and a loser. Loser! They would shake hands and walk away. And next day they would either be best friends or they just wouldn't talk to each other anymore. The problem was solved. They needed to run to the principal. They needed to run to a teacher. They needed to run to the police. And they didn't need to go to the district justice and have all this bull crap playing out that, this political correct crap that they got going on today. Nowadays, you can't do that, though. I would love to say that fist fights will solve your problem in school, but it won't because kids are too much of a wuss to let it go if they're on the losing end of the fight. They'll have to bring friends the next day, or the next day they'll come in with a gun or a knife. Because we have our kids trained to be wussies. So, they can't handle a setback. They can't handle a loss, and they have no respect. So our kids are taught it's not okay to lose, and it's not okay to win, because you might hurt the other person's feelings. I remember my grandfather, he used to tell me stories about students who had a problem with a teacher, or a teacher had a problem with a student that I guess they were talking about some subject, and the teacher was saying something that was wrong, and this kid raised and said, no, he said, Mr. So that's not right. And the teacher said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. The kid said, no, my dad taught me this. My dad told me this. He showed me this. You're wrong. So I guess this teacher was arrogant enough. He said, okay, you know what? We're heading out of the gym. So-and-so and I were going to have a boxing match. This was back in the good old days. They threw on some gloves. They threw on the headgear and all that. And they went and they had a boxing match. And this kid whooped this teacher's butt. The teacher didn't suspend him. The teacher didn't have him expelled or call the police or even mention it to his parents. Back to class, everybody. And it was never mentioned again. That was the way school was supposed to be. That's the way schools should be. Not all this bullshit of every person that doesn't belong nosing in on it. Just in the sake of not hurting somebody's feelings. Let me tell you something. My grandfather's generation turned out just fine getting their feelings hurt once in a while. Getting their feelings hurt made them motivated. Next time, I'm not going to get my feelings. Next time, I am not going to fail. I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'm going to make it so next time I don't fail. But kids today, they don't do that. No, it's not fair. And that's how it goes. It's not fair. The parents teach, and the teachers even teach kids, it's not fair to beat somebody. It's not fair to lose. It's not fair to call yourself a winner. It's not fair to call the other guy the loser. I'm sorry. If you win, yeah, you're a winner. If you lost, loser. You lost. Go back, get out there, train, practice, study. Get out there and make a difference next time. Do it different next time. Do it better. Don't get out there. If you want to get even, with somebody because they beat you, next time, show them what you're made of. Make some adjustments. change things, practice, go in the weight room, get stronger, get faster, motivate yourself. This, in here, this is all that you need to be a winner. Because I'm telling you, no matter what the end of the scoreboard says, if you gave it your all and you know it, and that other team, player, opponent, you know, they're there and they're just like, oh man, we won, but I'm never gonna forget. Never gonna forget what I had to go through to beat them. You know, we throttled them the last time we played them. And this time we beat them, but we didn't beat them like we did last time. We really had to work for it this time. It's respect. You gained their respect. I would rather gain somebody's respect than, you know, than come back and be dirty about it, or, you know, or be petty about it, you know, because somebody beat me out to get a job in an interview. If they interview different people and somebody else got the job, am I going to sue? Just because that person was more qualified than me, am I going to sue? No, I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to say, well, what did this other person have that I didn't have in this interview? What did they do differently that got them the position and not me? The next time I go to an interview, I'm going to remember what I did wrong or what I could have done better to get the job. Maybe next time I'll get the job. That's how kids need to be taught. But they're not. We got this Common Core crap. We got this politically correct liberal bull crap that makes kids feel somehow that if they're not, you know, given a false sense of security, that they're somehow a victim from that. I see no victims here um, because they lost, but they are victims. They're a victim of politically correctness. They're a victim of being made weak. They're a victim of being made into wussies. Their kids are going to grow up to be wussies. And they're not going to be able to accept defeat. They're going to be spoiled rotten their whole life. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I admit it, and I try as hard as I possibly can not to make that mistake again.
Yeah, me too.
That's any mistake I made. And you know what? A lot of times I end up making the same mistake again. And I sit there and I say to myself, why did I make the same mistake twice? But if you just sit there and you dwell on it and you worry about it, you cry about it, you'll never, ever, 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 ever improve, and you'll never, ever, ever get over making that mistake. And you'll never, ever get it right. What you got to do is you got to suck it up. And you got to play Monday morning quarterback. You got to look at yourself and you got to say, at what point did I go wrong? Where could I have gone a different direction? What could I have done a little bit different that would have affected the outcome of this enough to turn it in my favor? And next time I have the opportunity, I'm going to employ what I learned from making a mistake. Never let the failures of yesterday tarnish the success that could be yours tomorrow. That's my message to all the younger people out there. I'm 33, so I'm not trying to sound old because I'm not. 33 is not old. That ends the rant. 23 and a half minutes. It's the longest one I ever did. I promise the next one won't be so dang long. So I apologize. I apologize for the distraction. But she's a kid. You know, she doesn't know any better really yet. She does, but she doesn't. But she's excited. She's excited. She loves this kind of stuff. So we do our own kind of little vlog ourselves together. So we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna let her look in the camera and say goodbye. Have a good day. I'm going to school today. Go ahead. Tell them.
Daddy,
What?
can we please?
Well, we'll do another one. All I want you to do is say, I'm going to school today. I'll see you later.
I'm going to go like see you later.
See you later, kiddo. See you later, everybody.